Well, welcome everyone. Happy Friday. I'm Nancy Hoffman-Vaniak, and I'm CEO of the Greater San Fernando Valley Chamber of Commerce. And we're so glad that you're joining us today for our webinar on customer service, turning your satisfied customers into your loyal customers, presented by Lillit Cholakian from NewGen Global Leaders. If you haven't already done so, please put your information into the chat because Lillit wants to get to know you. Plus, you could save the chat later and use it for some networking because this is going to be interactive, right, Lillit?
Yes.
Okay, so let me just switch something off really quick. Spotlight. I'll stop my share. So here's Lillit, so you get to see who she is while I introduce her. Lillit is a certified executive coach and corporate facilitator. She is the founder and CEO of NewGen. I want to say Next Gen all the time. NewGen Global Leaders on a mission of developing self-aware, conscious, mindful, and evolved leaders across all generations who truly value and add value to people. Her motto is developing people and profits with integrity. She's also a VP of Client Development at Character Inc. Together with her strategic partner, she facilitates worldwide integrity selling, integrity service, integrity coaching, and integrity communication seminars with follow-up coaching sessions that develop sustainable results through behavior change, strong culture based on values, character, and integrity, and strong relationships within and across all departments of any organization. Lillit is a certified human behavior, communication, and emotional intelligence consultant. She masterfully incorporates this expertise into her one-on-one and group coaching sessions, seminars, and training, which create life-changing impact and transformation in her clients' hearts, minds, and lives. She is also an executive director with the Maxwell Leadership Certified Team and is honored to be a member of the Forbes Coaches Council. Lillit has been featured as one of the experts in more than 24 expert panel publications and articles on Forbes.com. Above all, she's a proud mother of 2 daughters, and this year added 2 sons by marriage, who have been her inspiration and drive to create a better world for all today and our future generations. So please join me in welcoming Lillit. And I'll remove the spotlight so you can share your screen.
Thank you. Let me share my screen first and make sure you can see it. Can you see the screen? Okay, give me perfect. I see it.
Yes.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Nancy, for that introduction. And it's so great to see so many familiar faces and new faces as well. I'm excited to meet all of you. And like Nancy said, it would be great if you could share your contact information, a little about your business, like in a couple of words, what do you do? So that way I get to know you and you get to know each other as well. And today we'll be talking about customer service that will help you cultivate more loyal customers. So let's face it, no business will survive without any customers, right? Customers pay our bills, customers pay our salaries, and customers help us exist in the first place. So, and likewise, no business will survive without loyal customers. So our focus today will be at the end, and we'll talk about the objectives. How do we build our loyal customers? Before we delve into it, let us take care of a few logistical aspects of our time together. First of all, as you already know, this event is complimentary to all of you as a courtesy of the Greater San Fernando Valley Chamber of Commerce. And I thank Nancy and Fuyumi and everybody else at the Chamber for this opportunity to add value to our local leaders and businesses. Having said that, even if you haven't paid dollars for it, no dollar amount for it, you're paying for it with your most expensive commodity, which is time. So did you know that you can actually, you can do 3 things with time: waste it, spend it, and invest it. So today you are investing your time on this Friday. So many people have signed up. You are here because you decided to invest your time in your personal growth and deciding to improve your business. So I thank you for that. I thank you. And I recognize that you being here is already you, because I've earned some level of trust that you decided to come in here and learn from me. And it also that you value your time as well and you value your growth as well. So I ask you to be intentional, to be present the entire time. I'm going to make it interactive. I'm going to ask you some questions, and I would invite the interaction constantly. If you have any questions, please feel free to type it in the chat or raise your hand. throughout the session. I will have a Q&A at the end, and I will tell you how I will ask you to share with me. But at the same time, throughout the session, feel free to ask any questions. Fuyumi was graciously kind to help me throughout the time because I don't always see the chats. I might miss it while I'm speaking. So she will be monitoring the chat. If you have any questions, she'll be monitoring. If you raise a hand and I miss it, she's given full permission to interrupt me throughout the session, and she will let me know and will answer every question. That's basically two things I ask you: be present, be on the video as much as you can. I understand there's sometimes the interruptions happen, but let's delve into it. First things first, every time, if you've been to my prior presentations, you know I always ask to set intention. First of all, there's a reason you're here. There's a reason for every one of us decided to invest this time to be here. And whatever that reason is, you might want to write it down, jot it down for you. But I also ask you to write down 3 takeaways. The point of it is 1, 2, or 3, maximum of 3 takeaways, even if it's 1 takeaway. The point of it is, while you're hearing what I'm presenting, while you're hearing the content, there are things that could be your aha moment, something that really resonates with you, as something new that you could try, something new that really hits home, or something that validates what you already known before, what you already believe in. And then also the second intention I ask you to set is action steps. Am I hearing busy tone? Okay. You can hear me, right, Fuyumi? If you have an issue with hearing me, let me know.
I can hear you.
Okay. And the second one is basically action steps. I'm sure you've heard of phrase saying knowledge is power, right? We all have heard that we're saying, and we all repeat that multiple times, and we believe it. But did you know that the phrase is actually attributed to Francis Bacon, English philosopher in early 1500s? And I can see how that phrase could have been very applicable in 1500s. However, in times and the country and the technological proliferation that we live in today, information and knowledge is available in abundance. We are bombarded with so much information and knowledge, and it's not always as useful. So the challenge today is that too often we don't apply the knowledge we have. Knowing and doing are 2 completely different things. So my goal in the work that I do always is focusing on closing that gap between knowing and doing. And that's where my intention comes from, asking you to decide what are the maximum of 3 actions, 1, 2, or 3. What are you going to decide to walk away from today and take the action? It could be directly related to the takeaways that you thought about, or it could be just something different that you realize I can do this different today that will help my business build more loyal customers. And there's a science behind my madness. If you've heard of the forgetting curve before, and I'm just going to briefly mention so you understand why it's so important for me, is we forget 75% of information that we learn within 48 hours. And we forget almost 90% of information within 6 to 8 weeks. So when you think about how many seminars you attend every day, earlier today, Nancy Fuyumi and I were just before we started our call, we were talking about how many events we get to go every single day, how many seminars and webinars are available nowadays, how many meetings we have in our work life, so much going on, and we're going from one to next to the next to the next to the next, and we are overloaded with the information. And if none of that is being used and applied, 75% of it is just gone within 48 hours, right? So thinking about that's my science behind the madness, that I ask you to commit yourself to taking the action. And the last step of this set intention, last ask for the set intention step is, I don't have luxury of coming alongside with you after this call to coach you and hold you accountable to taking that action, because this is a webinar at one time. But in my general coaching practices and the principles, I always lead through the multiple week session, holding my coaching clients accountable to what they've committed to themselves. So I ask you to find a friend, to find a colleague, to find somebody who could encourage you and hold you accountable with love, but yet firmness that you wanted to accomplish this. What are you doing today to be able to do it? So changing behavior is not easy. Not only does it take a lot of hard work, but it requires a concrete process that you can trust and follow on a daily basis. So that's where I like you to set the intention. Now, once you've done that, at the end, like I said, I want to make it interactive. I want to hear from you. I want to give you feedback. And more importantly, everybody learns from each other a lot of times. It's not only me talking to you today and presenting the content that I'm passionate about, but it's also learning from each other. So at the end, I will actually ask you to share with us, what are your takeaways? What are the action steps you're committing to yourself? And why are those takeaways your takeaways? A lot of times people learn from each other how you apply the same material in a different context, and that helps us. I believe that it's so important because success is a communal sport. We not only learn from a presenter, we don't only learn from the coach or a speaker that we have, but we learn from each other a lot. So that's my madness behind the science. The next thing I want to briefly talk about objectives. The objectives today are threefold. What is the customer service? Why is the customer service so important? And how to create loyal customer service, loyal customers. And the reason I go through these 3 steps is my way of working is always to look and find a foundation that we're all on the same page. A lot of times we define things different ways through because of our experiences in life, the way we see the world, we define. So I want to make sure that we all are on the same page. What is customer service and why is it important? And then we're going to delve into, and I'm not going to spend too much time on what and why, because I believe the fact that all of you are here, you understand the value of the customer service, how important it is, and you understand what customer service is. But we're going to start with that basic definition and we just move on so that we're all on the same page. Number 1 is, what is customer service? And the basic customer service definition, the one that I use today here is by Salesforce. But no matter what sources you use to define the customer service, it all includes few common elements. So we'll talk about the elements. First of all, let us read the definition. Customer service is a support you offer your customers both before and after they buy and use your product or service. That helps them have an easy and enjoyable experience with you. So you notice this is one definition. There's a lot of other definition, but all of them have a common element of you in that definition, the customer in that definition, the product and service, and the time you spend with the customer. So there are multiple modalities of spending that time with the customer, or how you provide the customer support whether it's telephone, it's a mail, it's in person, it's social media nowadays, it's texting, it's websites through a company website, it's through different organizations we're part of. So modality really varies depending on what the type of the business that we're in. But again, it all includes those same elements. So right now, this is going to be our first exercise that I'm going to ask you to write it down for yourself. And I'm going to ask you to share. We're not too many people on this call right now. I think it will be easy to have more of you share than if we were a bigger group, but still share it in the comment. If you don't want to speak, unmute yourself and share in by unmuting yourself, share it in a comment. Number 1, what is the question I'm going to ask you to think about? And I'm going to give you 3 minutes for this 3 questions. Think about the best customer service experience you've had. What was it? And what made it so good? And how did that make you feel? Okay. The second question, what was the worst customer service you've had? What was it? And what made it so bad? How did that make you feel? And the last question is, how do you want your customers to describe your service? How do you want them to feel as a result of working with you? Okay, there's 3 questions. It doesn't have to be long and elaborate. You know the experience you've had, whether it was bad or good. Maybe in a word or in a phrase, what was that experience and what made it so good or what made it so bad, right? And write it maybe in a word or in a phrase and put a feeling next to it. What was it that it made you feel like? So I'm going to put a timer for 3 minutes. And I will ask you to come back. Maybe 3 minutes might be too long. I'll check in like a minute, minute and a half, and 2, and see if you're done answering those 3 questions. Okay, my timer is set. How's everybody doing? We're 1 minute in. Give me thumbs up if you're done. Perfect. If you still need time, I'll just wait. We're still good. I'm not pushing on time. It's been only 1 minute into it, so I'll check in a minute also. Okay, we're 2 minutes in. Anybody needs more time? Thumbs up if you're done. If you could put thumbs up if you're done. And if you don't have thumbs up, I'll assume that you're still perfect. I see that, Scott. Thank you. Maria, I see that. Fuyumi, I see that. Awesome. SSL, I see that you're done. Does anybody need more time? You can unmute yourself and talk about it, but I see shaking head. So I will assume that we've had enough time. So let's give up like a couple of seconds and share. What is the word that describes it? Is it like you can say a word that describes the worst experience, the feeling, the word that describes best experience, the feeling around it. Anybody wants to share?
You want us to start with the worst or the best?
It's up to you. You can answer either direction.
Well, let me jump in. My camera doesn't work, which is my worst customer experience. I'm going to throw Microsoft into the Puget Sound. Because since March, they have not been able to solve the problem with my camera locking up and not showing up in meetings. And it makes me feel frustrated and angry. The best customer service is my friendly cardiologist. And every time I call them, I'm their most important thing, and I know they care about me. What I'd like my business to be seen as responsive, creative, and supportive. That's what I'd like to hear.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing that, Russell. And I'm sorry about that frustrating experience with the camera. You just, yeah, it takes a lot. It's stressful. I can only imagine. You want to be on the video and you can't. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else wants to share it? Yes, Scott.
So I'm hard pressed to think of a specific example for either best or worst, but I do know that best, it makes you feel valued. They care. They want whatever you are buying or doing with them, they want you to enjoy the experience and feel like you made a good decision. The worst, obviously, is the opposite. You feel like a cog in their machine. They just want to get through you and get on to the next one. They just don't care. They want your money and goodbye.
Yeah.
For me, I want my customers to feel like I care and I do everything I can. Emails, calls, texts. How can I help you? Is there anything you need to know more about? Is there anything we haven't talked about? What else would you like to know? You want them to feel like, again, this guy gets it. He cares about me and our business, because I feel that if they succeed, then I succeed. And that's what's important. That customers feel like it was a positive experience. They enjoyed working with us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. You notice that both of the shares, both of them were commonalities, valued, cared. You're the most important thing for them, right? That's the feeling behind the best customer service we experience, and frustration and anger. And those are the feelings that are associated with a bad customer service. And thank you both for sharing. And this is kind of I did want to go into what bad customer service is and what it feels like, and what good customer service and what it feels like, because we really need to focus on that and see what lessons can we extrapolate out of them in terms of when we work with our customers. But in some sense, as I'm preparing the slides, I felt like I will be preaching to a choir, because you're business owners, you already know what bad customer service is. So we're just going to talk briefly about it, but then we're going to be focusing on how do we take the great customer service into the excellent customer service, so that way that helps us build loyal customers. So in this case, the bad customer service, the words that are associated associated with it are rude, incompetent, neglectful, unhelpful, unresponsive, inconsistent. There's so many different words I can add here that you already shared as well. And then the feelings that go with it are ignored, disrespected, devalued, frustrated, anger, disappointment, helplessness, and stressful, right? Those are the feelings that go around it. And the thing is, I love how both of you who shared, Scott and Russell, you both shared and you recognize that when we talk about feelings, it's so we don't want to be treated based on people's feelings. Yet the reality, feelings are a big part of who we are. In fact, Antonio Damasios, he's the Portuguese American neuroscientist. He said that we're not thinking machines, we're feeling machines that think. So when we recognize that the feeling is an important aspect of our who we are, as a human beings, it's important to recognize what kind of impression we are leaving on our customers. So when the service quality slips, customers simply take their business elsewhere, and usually they do it quietly without even telling us because of the way it made them feel. Let's look at the good customer service. The words associated with a good customer service: attentive, empathetic, prompt, knowledgeable, friendly, reliable. And again, Scott and Russell, you noticed that there's a couple of words, similar words that you already mentioned yourself as well. And I'm sure all of you too on the call, you probably put down anything that is in alignment with these words. This is not all inclusive. I'm sure the list can get bigger. And then the feelings that associated with the good customer service are appreciated, important, valued, understood, satisfied, confident, relieved, and grateful. So all these feelings are important. Customers go where they receive value, are appreciated, and treated with respect. Those three things, both you, Scott and Russell, mentioned it in your share. I will even take it to the next level by adding word genuinely. And that's so important because people can say thank you until they turn blue. People can say please until they turn blue. People can smile all they want, but the reality is that people can pick up fake from miles away. So lack of that genuine appreciation and respect is what makes customers leave. And both you, Scott, and Russell, again, you both mentioned that genuine appreciation and making you feel that you're the most important thing in their life. And it's not just words that are said, the way they are said. And that's why we're going to be talking about attitude today. So why is customer service important? Again, this is a second objective of today. Again, I feel like we all understand at some level why it is important. That's why we're all are here. But it's important to set and look at a couple of data stats. So first of all, excellent service is essential to building customer loyalty. So number one stat number that I wanted to bring is, according to the Gartner research, by 2016, 89% of companies expect to compete mostly on the basis of customer experience versus 36% 4 years prior to that. You notice what a big jump it was from 36 to 89%. The second one is 68% of customers are willing to pay more for a company with a strong record of good customer experience. We do want to, it's okay, we would pay more money to get that customer service that doesn't get us frustrated, stressed out, and be able to do our job. Because if we're not able to get the good customer service to be able to do what we're supposed to do, we don't want to have that experience. And the next one is 94% of customers say they are more likely to buy again after positive customer service experience. And then last one is 61% of consumers would switch to a competitor after just one poor customer service experience. That is kind of scary, but that's a reality. Just one poor experience can actually drive the customer away. And like I said earlier, they can live quietly without even telling you a thing. So it is so important. We're going to be talking into the how portion of our presentation is, what do we do about it? How do we maintain, keep the satisfied customers? How do we keep that communication open? How do we know what's going on with the customers? So there's a plethora of studies and data showing direct correlation between customer satisfaction, customer loyalty, and company growth and profitability. And today I just only decided to bring this few stat numbers for you, but we all, I'm sure, agree and understand that it is very important for our company growth, for the profitability, and for loyalty. And the only way to grow our business and profitability is to have loyal customers. So let's look at what I believe is kind of a natural flow into the excellent customer service, which eventually leads into the loyal customer service. In most cases, in many ways, a good customer service is a starting point for achieving an excellent excellent customer service. It is the foundation, or you can say it's the door opener for your company. If the customers don't get good customer service with the product or service, whatever you offer, you don't get a second chance to up-level it to the great customer service. So it got to start at some point. They're getting some kind of a customer service, and that some kind of customer service has to be good, because we just heard from the statistics that even one bad experience will drive a customer away. So it's kind of, that is prerequisite into going and improving and integrating into the great customer service. The way I look at it, good customer service could be looked at as a reactive customer service. You provide a solution, you react to an issue or a need that you notice that's out there. Without providing some sort of a solution or form of a service or a product, there's no service to start with, right? There's no customer service to start with. The second one is a great customer service. It's more of a guiding process, providing a guidance and creative solutions to what you determine the customer's needs and wants are. So we got to start with a good customer service that flows into the great customer service, and it leads into the excellent, gives us a foothold to go into the excellent customer service, which is proactive. And proactive means I'm anticipating needs and take proactive steps in serving my customers. What could those possible needs be? And the only way, and you're going to hear me say it over and over today from this point on, is listening and asking great questions to understand the needs of our customers, to understand our customers in the first place. This requires an in-depth skill of getting to know your customer and building trust without even trying to sell a product first. And that's such a foreign idea for a lot of people, because every networking event I go to, I at least meet a couple of people that without even them getting to know me, they're trying to push their product. They're trying to sell something without getting to know who I am and what my needs are, right? So, and it's such an important step that a lot of times is overlooked. In our integrity sales program, where I teach the gap model, asking questions, we focus on logical questions and emotional questions to uncover those customer needs and wants. So without doing that part in building trust with the customer, we're not able to anticipate what they would want or need. So hence the excellent customer service is proactive step to help us learn more and anticipate what they need and want. And excellent service is doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Excellent service builds trust, respect, and honesty, which drives the long-term customer loyalty. And lastly, customer-focused attitudes, motives, and values drive the service, the excellent service. So it has to be customer-focused. And I love this quote by Fred Reichheld, and I'm probably mispronouncing his last name. And he's wrote an amazing book, if you're ever interested, the loyalty, profitability link, understanding the ultimate question. But what he says is so on spot. It's nearly impossible to build a profitable business without first earning the loyalty of a customer. And it's the truth. It's the truth. It's the foundation that I'm building the rest of my talk today. So we're going to talk about now how. The how is broken down into the three sets: the skill set, the mindset, and the heart set of earning the loyal customers, turning your good customers into loyal customers. I'll start with a skill set. My favorite one, all of them are actually my favorite. I would say this is the important one. I believe this is the most important one, yet one of the important ones, I'm sorry, not the most important. This is one of the important ones, and one of the ones that people focus on the most, and they don't go beyond this. Skill set is important. Think about your professions, think about your field, think about what you're doing, whether you're a doctor, the IT professional, you're HR professional I see on this call, you are not a notary professional, you're in the medical field, whatever field you are, there's certain skill set, certain gifts and talents that you have, you bring to the table through experiences and education that we have learned, that we know how to help people in that area of skills that we have, and we have passion for it because we've seen it work, we've experienced it in life, and we want to help people through the skills that we have. It's an important area to start with, but it's the area that a lot of businesses stay at and they don't move forward. What I see is the most important things are the next two: the mindset and the heart set. So let's look at the mindset. The mindset of excellent customer service that leads to loyal customers is acronym that I use. It's service. And we're going to unpack every single one. And the reason I briefly want to talk about the mindset. Mindset to me is about our core beliefs, what we believe in our core, and they're reflected through our outward expressions through the attitude. So mindset is reflected through our attitude. And as earlier Scott and Russell shared, is how people make us feel is that attitude expresses what they internal belief is. You are I remember Russell, you saying, I feel like I am the most important person, because that's expressed in their attitude when we call the customer service, wherever it is, right? So it's through the attitude. And also mindset is the way we see the world around us, but the attitude is how we interact with the world around us. And again, both of you that shared on this call, you shared how the great customer service interaction happens, but it goes back again to the mindset. And if you want to use the analogy of mindset and attitude, I want to invite you to think of a car. If you think of an engine, mindset is our engine that makes the car go, but the attitude is the way we drive the car. The engine is the same. Think of different models of the cars. The engine is the same, but one Honda or one Toyota is driven differently than the other one, but the engines are the same just because the way the driver drives it, right? So think of the mindset and attitude. And the reason I wanted to focus so much about the mindset, because we're going to be talking in the next few minutes about the mindset of service, is I think it's summarized really well in Stephen Covey's quote when he says, we see the world not as it is, but as we are, or as we are conditioned to see it. So the mindset is important. So the first letter is S, servanthood. What does servanthood mean? You know, when you think about servanthood, it's basically it's a complex of mental and ethical traits that are marking and often individualizing personal belief in how we serve people. Some people confuse servanthood with selflessness. What I believe is servanthood is focusing on others, while selflessness is focusing on myself. I'm going to be selfless. I'm not going to think about myself, but the reality, I'm thinking more about myself, so I'm not going to be thinking about myself. Servanthood is, I want to serve you. I want to bring the best to the table that will help you in your business, in your life, in whatever area that we are trying to serve individuals. Servanthood is the key, is the starting point of creating excellent service for our customer, because that expresses the attitude. As I spoke earlier, when I speak to the customer, my attitude and my words are expressing what my desire is for the customer. The second one is empathy. Do I have the empathy? Empathy is ability to understand and share the feelings of other. Remember earlier in the exercise I kept asking, what does it make you feel? How does it make you feel? Bad experience, good experience, because feelings are important. If we're not able to understand other people's feelings, we can't put ourselves in their shoes. Now, do we have to experience it? Completely not. We need to be able to understand it. To be able to have the empathy, we need to be able first understand our customers. Again, going back to listening and asking great questions and listening to our customers. We're going to go into that. And that could only happen if we spend time, invest time, as I earlier said, with our customers. Replicability is the next one. Replicability is, I believe, is very important, because this is what helps you create the results, reproduce results and create consistency in the service we provide. Whether we are in an organization that are working by ourselves, solopreneur, or we are entrepreneurs, we have other people in our organization that are able to produce this same kind of, give the same customer service level, not exactly the same words repeating. I'm sure you've all had experiences with certain big companies. I'm not going to name the companies, that you call the line and you can tell that they're reading the script, right? It's important to understand that I'm not talking about everybody having the same script and reading the script. We do have to follow the process, but it doesn't have to be the exact script to obtain consistency in our results, to obtain consistency in the service type we provide. Replicability is important because it provides customers dependence. It provides customers knowing that every time they call, they will get consistent results, whether it's finding a solution for the problem we are having, or whether it's finding the potential route that we need to take. But at the end of the day, consistently being valued, consistently being felt like we're important as a customer, and consistently be going back to the same results. Now, I love this image that I picked here because it's so important. And I've been looking for, I'm a visual person, so you'll see all my slides have pictures. And this image, when I saw that, I said, this is it. This is what I want to show. Because like I said earlier, in our trainings that we do, integrity sales or integrity service, we teach a process. There's a process that everybody within the organization follows. There's a steps that we ask everyone follow. And I will talk briefly about those steps. G-Val High is, for example, the system that we have. G is how we greet the people. V is how we value the people. A is how we ask questions. L is how we listen. So the process we're following, but the flavor and the colors into it come from our own personalities. The process is the same. That's what creates a replicability. That's what creates a consistency. So this image that I picked, I saw the yellow, the pink, the greenish colors. The shapes are the same. To me, it was a similar analogy to the process is the same. The size of the circles are the same. Yet we all bring our hearts and our perspective and our colors and our flavors into it, and that's what makes replicability not mirroring and not robotic service, but it makes a replicable, caring service that becomes excellent service. The next one is value. Value is listening to our customers and implementing or responding to what is being said. Now, the value is the the mindset that, first of all, I need to be able to understand that I am valuable. I bring value to the table, and I'm valuable to others. So value has a multidimensional kind of aspect in this formula, because unless we believe we have value to bring to the table, we're not going to be able to provide excellent customer service. But also, more so than that, we can't stop there. We need to make sure that we make sure that our customers feel that they're valued, like it's been shared on our call earlier. So value is an important element, and it will be, no matter who you speak to. I know exactly every single time, whatever customer shares their bad or good experiences, the value is in it. The element of value, whether I was valued or I wasn't valued, is in it. In fact, I'll share my example, is that I've literally boycotted a grocery store because I felt like I'm not being valued there as a customer. It's very close to me. It was so convenient for me, and I wanted to constantly use their services. Yet when I understood, when I was treated the way I was treated, it was like, well, if you don't come back, we have other customers. To me, I was devalued as the customer. I will not put any of my hard-earned money, and I will not invest any of my hard-earned money in shopping there, even though it was really, really convenient for me. So when we don't feel valued, the reality is we don't want to go back to that, right? The next element of the service formula is intentionality. Intentionality is the key element, because that's how we approach our customers every single day. We don't just pick up the phone and say, oh, I'm a firefighter. I'm just putting out fires all day long. And we can get into that mode so easily every single day, because life happens, things happen around us. But intentionality is an important element, because I want to constantly stay and come to the table, come to that call, come to that email, come to that social media post, whatever modality I'm using to communicate with my customer. My intentionality is, How am I adding value to them? How am I making sure that they feel valued? And that intentionality is just, I'm bringing the example of valuing. We can use it with the empathy. We can use it with the servanthood. We can use it with replicability. Am I intentional about using the consistent process that I know that works? So that intentionality is basically turns me into proactive individual, leader, person, and all of these elements that I'm talking about. I've seen time after time, it's not only applicable in our business, it's not only applicable in the customer service area of growth of our business, it's applicable in our personal lives, it's applicable in our volunteer organization, wherever we go. That's who we're becoming, and that's who we're taking with us everywhere. And the next one is the consistency. Consistency is so important because every single time, time after time, if we're not consistent, we're not going to see a different results. Consistency compounds. When we think about consistency it's one of those areas that I do something 1 or 2 times and I see it's not working, I stop trying, right? When we think about in our industry, I think our life, actually, not just industry, our society is, we are more of a microwave people than a slow cook pots that know that it takes time to build something. It takes time to change habit. It takes time to build that trustful relationship and help customers know that they can trust us and they can come back to us every single time, consistently expecting same level of treatment, which is valuing them, being empathetic with them, and same level of care for their concerns and needs in a business, which leads us into the ethics is excellent service, is doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. How many times, if you think through your experiences, have you ever had a time when you had a customer who came to you for a certain service or product, and you know that was not the best service or the best product to help them solve their problem? Have you had that experience that somebody would still push that service or would still push that product on you, or you've done that ourselves? So like, can we confidently walk away from this potential opportunity with a customer if we don't think that this service that I offer or this product that I sell is actually the optimal product or service for them? Or will I be do I have a scarcity mindset? Would I feel like I need to have this customer even if it's not to their best interest? And that's where the ethics comes in. Can I serve this customer to the best of their interest? What I provide, what I have to offer, is it adding value to them, or is it kind of not complete package? And those are the service. This is a service mindset that I always challenge and invite my customers to go to and kind of look into, and I'll talk about the traps that will fall into at the end of the presentation, and really assess what are the areas that I can elevate and improve in the way I service, and so that I can improve my customer service. I think we're at 10:47, so I need to move a little faster here. The last one is the heartset, the love model. I talk about the love model because to me it's important, and I'm just going to bring all elements out to it. Love, and I'm not talking about love in terms of what our societal, the way the Hollywood presents the love in the movies, the Valentine's type of love, the romantic books that we talk about. No, that's not the type of love I'm talking about. The love, the acronym that opens up as listen, observe, validate, and value, and empower and encourage. And I'm going to quickly go into every single one. L stands for listening to your people. Is the best way to express to them that you care and they're important to you, whether it's your customers. And like I said, this is about customer service, but this is transferable to any areas of our lives, with our families, with our coworkers, with our friends. L stands for that listening. And a lot of times in our society today, we're so bombarded with information. We're so constantly distracted, whether it's external distraction or internal distraction in our mind, which happens a lot. Listening became the hardest skill to practice. And this is what I encourage everyone. Are you really actively listening, intentionally listening? And talking about intentionality, right, earlier. And the second challenge with the listening is our misinterpretation. I always say hearing is a function of our physical ears, but listening is a function of our heart. I could hear the words that people are saying, but if I don't have the desire to understand what my customers want me to understand, they're probably not saying in the words, they're probably not able to put it into the words. Am I hearing their wants and their needs and their desires, or am I just listening to the words? Am I listening to their words, to their heart, to their wants and desires, or am I just hearing the words that they're saying? So hearing is a function of our physical ears. Listening is a function of our heart with intention to understand them. O stands with observing. And observing is, to me, is active listening. It's using our eyes to observe people's gestures, people, vocal interactions, people, the way they behave with others, the way they stand, the way they express the body language. All of that is still listening, but it's listening through our eyes. And again, a lot of times we confuse seeing with listening. Seeing is a function of our physical eyes, but being able to see and observe, actually what that is telling us is a different skill set. And then V stands for validating and valuing. Are we validating what our customers' needs and wants are and trying to value them? Or are we just trying to push on what we desire for them to know? Validating doesn't mean that I agree, or even understanding the customer doesn't need to mean that I agree or disagree. It's just validating that I hear. By validating, I tell the customer, I see you, I hear you, and you matter. Now, can I help you? Let me look into what I can do for you. So validating and valuing is also important. And lastly, encouraging and empowering. So all those things, like when we encourage our customers, I do have a solution. I can encourage, remember we talked about proactive. Excellent customer service is proactive. Once I'm able to hear and understand what the needs and wants are, I can become proactive in determining and anticipating what their needs are. And that's why encouraging and empowering comes into the play. That's where it comes into the play. And now I can encourage them that we do have whatever it is, the service, the product, the offer that can help them achieve that need and want. So the question I would want to leave you with is, what business am I really in? Like when you think about the mindset that we talked about, the service mindset with the acronym, the heartset, which is expressed through the love acronym, and obviously the skill set, you already all have and know your skill set. You know what your skill set is, what you provide to this world through your business. And when you think about it, what business am I really in? Can you answer that question? Is it just, and I want you to really go deep, not say that I sell HR services or I sell printers. What the business really is. And to be able to answer that question, this is going to be more like a homework for you to kind of reflect and think through, is how does my organization generate revenue? Why would people do business with me or my organization? How does my job impact customer satisfaction and loyalty? And what unique qualities do I bring to serve customers or support colleagues who work directly with my customers? These questions are going to really, if you stay with them, if you intentionally brainstorm with yourself or with your colleagues, with somebody who can hold you accountable and try to answer this question, it will help you understand what business you really are in, because that will help you drive to the type of value you can add to the customer, which will take your excellent customer service to generate loyal customers. And the reason I say this is important because until we intentionally do the homework of understanding what value do I bring to the table, remember I said in the element of value, we won't be able to fully give the full value that the customers need and want. So when answering these questions, I would have loved to go into the deeps in our training that we do. I do the follow-up sessions, 6 or 7 week follow-up sessions. We do break it down to help you recognize what the value that you can bring and what the value that you can give to the customer when you really work with them. But this is a quick exercise right now, and I'm going to ask you to do it and find an accountability partner, whether it's in your organization or outside of it, and try to work through this process. And lastly, when I said I like to bring the big guns out at the end, is because we all are human beings and we all are driven by our habits. Certain things we've learned to do in our life through experiences, through education. Remember, I talked about the skill sets and things that we have, the gifts and talents. And to change all of that takes time. But throughout the process, we might fall into the traps of certain traps that we need some ways to get out of them. And the traps that I want to talk to you about, those are the CIA trap, the big ones, the CIA. We're bringing out the CIA, right? And I loved it. But the minute I wrote it down, I'm like, oh my God, it stands for CIA. The complacency. The complacency is showing uncritical satisfaction with ourselves or our own achievement. And this, it's a good thing. The achievements are great. But if we become complacent and think that what we have done so far been successful, and I want to just keep going on and doing the same thing over again, well, I guess that leads to our insanity, because as Albert Einstein described insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, yet expecting different results. So very often we are to some degree successful in our business, and that could also set up a trap for ourselves, not looking in a different way of approaching it. Ignorance. Ignorance by itself is not a mean word, bad word. It's just meaning not knowing or not having a knowledge or information. But that's a trap, because if we don't know what we don't know how to add value to ourselves so we can add value to our customers. So that could be also a trap. Again, success could lead to that. Certain level of success could lead to complacency, could lead to ignorance. And the lastly is avoidance. When we don't see what we don't see, when we are happy with the level of success, even though part of us says, I want to grow the business, I want to have more loyal customers, but we still get complacent in what we've been doing because we fall into this comfort zone. Avoidance is what keeps us there. That's the trap. We avoid taking action, but not the action that we're doing every single day. Different action, getting out of the comfort zone, doing something different. And that's what's the trap that I'm talking about. So CIA, complacency, ignorance, and avoidance are the traps. What's the antidote to it for us? And that's the ADA. Awareness. You see, I love acronyms, right? Awareness, and I'm a visual person, and I hope this helps you also to remember. These are the mind tricks that I like to do to help my memory. So the ADA is, number one is awareness. Awareness, the level of awareness helps me combat the complacency that I have, right? The desire is number two. Desire to do something different, desire to improve my business, desire to get more loyal customers, to go from the good service to excellent service to a better, earning loyal customers is what's going to drive me to look into doing something different, to get out of that ignorance stage and think differently, look through differently, look from a different skill sets that I might need to change that. And lastly, last antidote of avoidance is action. Action is actually it will help us get out of that comfort zone. It's a baby step actions. And when we're complacent, we're overestimating the results and underestimating the potential. When we're ignorant, we're overestimating the knowledge of the past, and we're underestimating the growth. And when we are in the avoidance trap, we overestimate the comfort zone, and we underestimate the potential of pushing ourselves outside of the boundaries and coming up with a creative solution. So these are the three traps that we can fall into as business owners, or in general in life. Like I said, this is applicable more than just customer service, more than just in our business life. And then we go into the antidotes, how we can help us serve. So that's pretty much concluding what my whole presentation was about. In this hour, I basically took you snorkeling on the surface of vast depth of customer service world. This is clearly not enough time to create that sustainable, lasting transformation in the way that we approach our customers and we approach customer service in general. We need to go snorkeling with this information. So I invite you to take these questions that I suggested for you today to think about. Take these questions, find somebody that can be your accountability partners, or contact me. Let me know if you have any questions, any way I can serve you. There are 2 QR codes that you can go through, like scan those QR codes. That's my contact information. That's also, I have a closed Facebook group for the like-minded, growth-minded individuals where I share tidbits of information. And the reason it's called 1 Degree Champion Club is because it takes just one little step every day to create that sustainable change and growth. I thank you for listening to me. I would like to open up. I don't know. We don't have time. It's 11 o'clock. I'm sorry. I wanted to hear your feedback, takeaways, or action steps, or any questions that you might have.
Good. If anyone has any questions, like raise your hand or just chime in. Well, we still have Lillit here for a few minutes.
Let me close my share screen so I can be with you. Any takeaways, any aha moments, any action steps that you're committing to yourself that you might want to share in this chat or share with us? Feel free to, if you want to contact, we're here.
I can share one of the things I love that you said early on. You had said, we don't like to be treated by the way people feel. And I felt like that's such a big, like you were talking about the consistency, like at the end of the day, the customer doesn't care how we feel when we're serving them, right? They don't care like you, and I think a lot of times we give excuses for bad customer, like they probably had a bad day, which I think is great to like to extend grace. But I also think it's true, right? Sometimes we have to put how we're feeling aside, right? In that moment to be professional and to really service our customer really well. I just thought that was very like a really like smart thing is we don't want to be treated by the way we feel, how somebody feels. And I thought that's so important for consistency.
Thank you.
Sometimes you smile into the phone even when you're feeling terrible.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
and that I'm not sure if you experience that, but that also helps you get out of your head and out of your mind and your heart and just like focus on the person. That's what the servanthood is, right? Like I'm just focusing on that person, right? And it's hard. It's not easy thing to do, but you nailed it. It's like you can see when people are not, they're just having a bad day. And
Right. It's almost better just to say, I'm so sorry, I'm having a bad day. It's not you, it's me, But yeah, I really
Absolutely.
appreciated that. That's
Thank
a good
you.
reminder.
Thank you for sharing.